Hello and welcome to the Brodsky Brief. I am Jerry Brodsky, your host. This podcast is a space where we break down complex projects, real work risk, dispute resolution, and lessons that come from working through high pressure situations. The goal is simple. We take conversations that normally happen behind closed doors in construction, infrastructure, and international development and make them understandable and useful for a broader audience. Today's episode is called Cross-Border Counsel, Building Trust Across Legal Systems. Now, when people think about international projects, they usually focus on engineering, financing, and contracts. But today we're talking about something much less visible and in many ways much more important. We're talking about trust. Specifically, how lawyers from different countries, cultures, and legal systems build the professional relationships that allow them to solve problems together for clients. Because when those relationships work, clients receive extraordinary value. And when they don't, even the best legal teams can struggle. Today, I'm joined by my friend and respected colleague, Victor Madeira from Brazil. Victor has spent his career at an intersection of construction, infrastructure, contract arbitration, and dispute resolution, working on some of Brazil's most significant projects. We first met more than 20 years ago while representing clients on a major construction matter in Brazil. At the time, we were lawyers from different countries working in different legal systems for different firms. We barely knew each other. Yet over the time, we have built a professional relationship built on trust, mutual respect, and a shared commitment to doing what's best for the client. Now, looking back, that relationship became the foundation for many, many successful projects. And today's conversation is really about some of the lessons we've learned along the way. Victor, boa tarde. Obrigado por vir a meu podcast. Seja bem-vindo. And that's all the Portuguese I'm going to speak for today.
Hello, Jerry.
It's a real pleasure to have you as a guest. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure is mine. First of all, I don't need to say, but it's needed. I really admire you. You are a mentor to me, and I think for most of the construction market, the dispute board market. So it's a pleasure to be invited to speak here with you in this great podcast. Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Victor. I'll send the check for that statement a little bit later. So before we begin sharing some of these experiences, please tell us a little bit and our listeners about yourself and your career, how it led you to construction and infrastructure law.
So
give us a short version of your background and what you do today.
Sure. So I've been working in infrastructure for the past 25 years. I started working in a construction company before I went to a law firm as a trainee. And then I was invited to join Pinheiro Neto Advogados, which is a full service, one of the largest law firms in Brazil. And then I was working there as a litigator, doing most of the work related to tobacco litigation. And at some point, this client left the firm, and me and the partner that was in charge of the group started to build a new area in the new. At that time, there was no specialized firms that do infrastructure and construction. So at that time, it was a real challenge to start working as a full service firm doing construction law. But you can imagine, big firms do most the very large projects, project finance, and also big arbitrations, but is a very limited scope that we did at the past. So at some point, we met each other, and and then you invited me to work for a while.
Oh, we're going to get to talk about all of that. Yes, for sure. That's going to be the more fun part of this, I think.
Yeah.
Now, your experience is really complete. You've worked in one of Brazil's largest firms. You've served as in-house counsel on a very large steel company, and eventually now, more than 15 years ago,
15
founded
years.
your own practice. Now, how did each of those experiences shape the lawyer you are today?
No, I believe that one of the issues that I tell to all people that work with me, that in order to be a good construction lawyer, you have to have experience and not only do one thing. You have to start. The best way is to start as a litigator, and then have some experience working on the field, as I did, working in the CSN for when they have several large projects, railroads, ports, and other big projects, and then starting to go deeper in the contracts, because some people want to start doing contracts, construction contracts, but in order to negotiate and know what is relevant for a contract, you have to first know what is wrong with the project, when everything goes wrong. And that's why I believe that this gave me the opportunity to start in the sequence that was the right sequence, I think. Starting as a litigator and then move a little bit to contracts. Nowadays, I do both, arbitrations, litigation, and also construction. And one thing that I tell to all my clients that I believe is where I can help most is not in the arbitration and not in the contract, but helping them during the project, because that's when you can give the best advice in order to protect the project from a complete collapse.
Absolutely. No, for sure. Victor, one of the reasons I wanted to have this conversation is because international projects almost always require lawyers from different countries and different legal systems to work together. And initially, that's what brought you and I together. More often than not, those lawyers have never met before. More often than not, they approach problems differently. They may communicate differently. They may even define success differently. Yet, they're expected to become one team, working on one project, sometimes worth hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. From my perspective, that's where the real challenge begins, because collaboration isn't done by contracts or created by contracts. It's not created by firm names. It's created by trust between people. So when people talk about cross-border legal work, they often talk about jurisdiction, choice of law, what court do we go to, which rules apply, what forum should be. Those are all very important questions, but there's one question that's even more important. How do lawyers who have never worked together become a team capable of solving one client's problem? And that's the question that I'd like us to explore today. So
I think you have already answered a little bit, Jerry, your question. In my opinion, trust is the number one issue. So the lawyers is not only a relationship between the lawyers, but also the client and the lawyer. Is all about trust. I have already talked to you about my past and how I see the advocacy, the work as a lawyer. I believe that sometimes we forget nowadays there's this image of this lawyers being almost a businessman and like a company, a law firm. And I don't believe in this model. I believe that lawyers are individuals, are professionals that all are about trust. The client has to trust you, and it works also the same in collaboration. So in order for a collaboration to work, both the team has to trust each other, has to not only about the capability to deliver the work, but also to know what the other lawyer expect for you, and what, and also that this relationship has to protect the relationship between the lawyer that brings the case and the client. So it's a lot of things. The trust, I think, is number one. And I think the second issue is about the cultural intelligence. What I mean about cultural intelligence, lawyers that work with different foreign companies or foreign clients, they need to understand the difference of culture and also difference of in the law, because in the end of the day, if you are dealing with a civil law country, in your case, Jerry, when you are coming to South America to deal with clients, you have to understand a little bit how the civil law works. You don't need to go deep in the law, but you have to understand that the mentality and what is the cultural issue in order to really work well with the local partner. Otherwise, there will be a problem. This will never work. So I believe these are the top two issues that I consider are the most important for a cross-border collaboration work.
Victor, I couldn't agree with you more. It's of course what you know, but it's also what you don't know, and that's where the collaboration really can take form. Now, one of the themes that has come up repeatedly throughout our careers is that successful projects are not built by individual lawyers. They're built by teams. They're supported by teams of lawyers or legal experts, as opposed to individuals. But building the right team is not just collecting lawyers or finding different lawyers with different skills. It requires, of course, trust. Trust takes time. But yet, on international projects, we don't have the luxury of time. Lawyers are brought together because a project is already facing a significant challenge. So how do you build trust quickly enough to solve the client's problems when you're introduced to counsel in other countries for the first time? What do you look for? What's the first thing that you're looking for in that person?
No, I believe that first, the excellence of the work. So I have to have reference that this person will deliver the best that my client wants. So first, the knowledge, this is, I think, the first step to understand that the lawyer can deliver what is needed for the client.
What about personal qualities? What personal qualities can you tell quickly from somebody that indicate to you that person is likely to be a good collaborator, a good team member?
No, I believe that a good listener. Sometimes when you deal with again different cultures, sometimes the person is very anxious to show the job and is not does not listen and understand what really needs to be done, and what are the expectations that has of the client and of yourself who is requesting the help. So a good listener is better than a good talker. So it's important that to really in this first contact for the person to really listen more what you need and understand that, than just showing what I can do. What I can do is about your track record, which is already there, which is, I think, the number one that I mentioned to you. The second is, I believe, is really to be a good listener and really understand what is needed. I don't need like a showman. I need someone that will listen and will work as a team. Also have this quality of knowing how to work as a team, because it's a challenge, especially for lawyers.
Okay, glad you said that, because I'm going to say, isn't humility an essential part in international legal work among lawyers from different jurisdictions.
Totally.
What stayed with me about this, our first experience working together, was an opportunity to keep learning what it's like, what the laws are like in Brazil, what the problems are, and vice versa. And that's what led us to the next phase of I think the development of this professional relationship, which is learning how to work together every day. And that's exactly what happened. Not long after that first project, through arrangements between our firms, you and your family came up to Miami to spend a year seconded to Picard and Abramson, the firm where I was. Like I said, you spent an entire year. Now, traditionally, those exchange programs between firms are education. You come to observe, and then we send somebody down there to learn and observe. You attend meetings, you may go to a deposition, you may go to a settlement, a trial. You learn how the other legal system operates. And that's really the expectations of these exchange programs. But after a couple of weeks of having you in the office, I realized that you were getting bored, that you needed to do more than just learn, and that you were not the kind of lawyer who wanted to just sit quietly and learn in the background. So tell me, when you were coming to Miami, what were your expectations about that experience as you came?
Jerry, first, the way that I am, I'm very passionate on what I do, and this reflects also in my profession. When I had this opportunity to go to your office, I knew beforehand that was a great opportunity to me, not only because of my resume, but really to go to a next level of learning, because I knew that I was just working in the tip of the iceberg in construction law in Brazil. So I could not lose the opportunity to really be part of the team when I was there. And again, and I was in a moving train working. I started to work early and work hard, sometimes during the night, weekends. And this is how was my life before going to Picard. So I didn't want to go there and just lose the opportunity to really work and not only sit there and be an spectator. I wanted to be part of the movie and be really.
Victor, what surprised you most about working inside of an American law firm? I'm curious about that.
I believe that first, remember that I was working a giant firm, which was very different, and where the type of work that I was doing in Rio Neto when I moved to US was totally different, and the structure of the firm, in which you have much more senior people working, and the partners very well involved in all cases, and also the way that you deal in America. For example, the summation. I was involved in one of the cases that was doing the summation and the deep analysis of all the documents, and going deep not only on the legal strategy but also going deep on the documents, and sometimes spending the whole day going to the files. We remember that we didn't have artificial intelligence to do that at the time, so
we have post-it notes.
was something. And it reminds me a little bit from when I started as a lawyer. When I had really to go, I told you already this. I had to go to the court and make my notes by hand. That was not even sometimes take a picture of the files to have it, and then go and I had at that time when I entered the internet was I don't want to say that I'm too old, but there was no computer, it was just typing machines, and was part of really becoming a lawyer, and these types of challenges that we have on reading, doing, sometimes it looks like a basic thing, but this is when you learn really and change your mind, because in the end of the day, when you see a work as a construction lawyer, it's about reading and going deep in the documents. Otherwise, if you don't do this, probably going to lose their case.
What changed once you stopped observing and became part of the team? What changed inside of you about the experience, if you can describe?
Is be part of a team always is about being recognized. So we say when you're a kid here in Brazil, when you don't know how to play very well the sport, sometimes you say, "Oh, you are coffee with milk," which is someone that that is not really playing for sure. It's just someone that is there, but you don't have to really worry. He's just a coffee with milk. So it's becoming really part of the team, and knowing that you have a value and you are producing something that is, in the end of the day, useful for the client, for the firm that I was working with. I didn't want to be just a burden. I wanted to produce.
And let's go back to the beginning. What did that experience teach you about trust?
Spending the whole year there was knowing each other from all these issues where we passed through. The ethical part, understanding the culture, and understanding what is important for PECAR, what are the standards, the expected standards for the client, how to behave with a foreign client. So all this gave me a lot of tools now to render service to foreign clients. This helped me a lot on understanding what the client is waiting for me. It's not something totally I can compare, like a client here and a client for example in the US is a totally different approach.
I agreed. I mean, one thing I think people outside of our profession don't always realize is you don't really need to be licensed in a particular jurisdiction to contribute meaningful technical expertise or to contribute to a legal team. And that's exactly what you did. You were not licensed in Florida. We were working on cases that were domestic at that time, but you found a way to contribute and to contribute meaningfully, even though it wasn't your comfort zone. And that raised a lot of eyebrows. That really caused a great impression. I can tell you, until this day, everybody at PNA remembers your year there very, very fondly. Construction problems are often engineering problems, scheduling problems, management issues. Lawyers contribute in many ways. And I can tell you that at PNA, once we recognized that you had that talent, that you had that desire not to be a tourist, we were so happy, and it became very obvious that you could add value, and you did. And till this day, when you come here, and you and I can say we worked together on that building, that changed the entire experience. Victor, how did our collaboration evolve after you returned to Brazil?
So when I started working in CSN, I realized that they were in a fast track way to do several construction projects at the same time. So they were building ports, expanding their mining factory. They have railroads. They have several construction projects, and they are not specialized in construction. So this is when I went there was for a whole of really help them to be on to try to have an equilibrium with the contractors they are hiring to do this, and how to carry this work and complete the projects. So when I was there, I saw a good opportunity to train these guys to change the way, because one of the main things is, doesn't matter if you are a lawyer or a project manager, you have to really understand what are the problems what are the types of contracts. So if you are involved in a construction project, you have to understand this. And it's the same for lawyers to understand the technical issues. In the end of the day, if you don't understand the technical points, it will never be helpful for the project and the client that you are assisting. So the first thing that caught my attention was that the people were not very experienced in construction. So I said, Jerry, I believe that we have a good opportunity here to bring the knowledge to this company, because they are in a very strategic moment. And that's when I called you, said, come here, let's try to design a training for these guys so they can be experienced and also be more prepared to handle all these constructions at the same time.
That was our week in Volta Redonda.
Exactly.
I remember it well, and it actually it drew a parallel, because Volta Redonda is a steel town. The whole town is centered on the steel plant where you were working. And when I went to college in Bethlehem at Lehigh, Bethlehem Steel was also the largest steel manufacturing company in the northeast of the United States, and it dominated the economy of the whole region. And that was a wonderful experience, being able to come down to Volta Redonda and talk to the teams about more modern contracting practices and bringing some of the experiences. I think that working inside counsel, in-house, I think gives you a perspective that very few lawyers that never have that experience actually get. I was very fortunate a few years ago to spend 1 year working in-house as a loaner for a big civil contractor up in Colorado. And it really changed my perspective. So I wanted to ask you the same. Did working inside a company change the way you thought about outside counsel?
Totally. You really is different when you are wearing the shoes of the company, because when you are seated in the air conditioning in your own room, working totally far from the problems, you don't really understand the stress that these guys are passing through, and how they need the information in in a way that they can present to the directors that are understandable. Sometimes the lawyers want to really do like a piece of art to for themselves, for maybe for their ego, and they forget that the people that are receiving this need something short and clear. So right. My perspective of what is needed, what the clients really need, for sure, sometimes they need like the piece of art, depending on where they are going to present this in a case. But on the day-by-day issues, when we are more helpful, they really need something executive, something direct to the point, and someone that can really translate the problems into solutions. Because sometimes lawyers like to create problems without telling, look, okay, this is the problem, how we are going to solve this. And I tell my wife, I became, I think, at that time, a problem solver. And this is how I am.
And that leads us to, I think, what has been the most unique and amazing experience working together, which was the creating all of the dispute board program for the Rio 2016 Olympics. This was years later, one of the biggest opportunities either of us had ever seen arrived. Rio was hosting the Olympic Games in 2016, and suddenly Victor and I had an opportunity to help introduce dispute boards into one of the largest infrastructure programs in the world, with the hottest and the hardest deadlines. No Olympics are going to be late, and Rio wasn't going to be the first. And the organizing committee decided that they wanted to use this new thing called dispute boards, and they asked Victor and I to put it together, to train the people, to implement, to write the contracts, to write the rules, the whole program. And I think we had 4 months to do it, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly.
I can tell you this, looking back, I don't think you and I would have been able to accomplish what we did if we had only recently met when the Rio opportunity came up. That Rio opportunity came on a foundation of trust and experience of many years working together, and that's why I think we were able to make it so successful. A couple of questions for you on Rio. What made the Olympics such a unique professional challenge for you?
No, first I think we were trying to teach the market about something new. We were not. I think the Olympic Committee had a clear vision, because they went to a workshop that you were doing in Instituto de Engenharia, and they heard about this new thing called dispute boards, and here just a few people knew. I think Fernando Marcondes was one of the only ones that had the experience with this and knew what was this animal. So was a challenge to really teach the whole market, almost the whole market, about something totally new in an environment that was dominated by lawyers that were stick to arbitration. So we said, look, sometimes these guys can be afraid of this new mechanism. So we were stepping in eggs, trying to really understand how to start from scratch, because we didn't have people with the knowledge, and without having the basic knowledge, this would never work, because I believe that the seed that we planted there is now being totally is a grown tree now in Brazil, because this more than 10 years after this training, we now everyone knows dispute boards. This is a reality in most of the contracts. and the concessions are understand very clearly what is this figure. That public authorities as well, the dispute boards are regulated by law for public projects. So that that thing that we did had a huge impact in the market.
Victor, what I remember the most about that experience was creativity. We really had to start from nothing and create a whole program in 4 months. And it was a lot of pressure. It was a lot of thinking and brainstorming. But what kept us together really, and what allowed us to think most freely and really bring it together, was trust. We trusted each other, so there wasn't. That was not even an issue, and that really opened our minds, I think, to put everything that we had in terms of creativity, effort for that project. Thinking back, Victor, what lessons from earlier projects do you think helped us navigate that opportunity?
I think first being united and all these past experiences that we had that put us created this team way of doing things. The communication that we developed during these years working together helped a lot. Because basically we're thinking on the same syntony.
And agreed. And we had our challenges. Remember, we were swimming upstream. There was resistance. There's always resistance to change. There was a whole arbitration bar that was very skeptical about what dispute boards were going to do. Eventually, they learned that they coexist. They don't replace each other. But I remember that one of the things we realized early on was that the dispute board of Victor and Jerry alone wasn't going to carry the legal community and attract the support. We needed the support of locals, and I think that's when we realized that we needed to have others buy into, important players from the community, buy into what we were trying to do, give them a role, make them participant. And we involved some of Brazil's leading firms and respected practitioners, not because we had to, but because doing so strengthened the project and strengthened the acceptance within the market. So it was a strategic move. A couple of questions that remain from that experience, Victor. Why is building the right team often more important than being the biggest team?
The volume doesn't mean anything. Number of people is, you learn that, for example, when you have a firm like mine, and your case as well, now, Jerry, that you have your own firm, you see that just hiring, putting more people, this will never solve the problems. You'll never give the best result to your client or to your firm. You have to have the right team, which has nothing to do with the number of people that are involved. For sure, depending on the project, you have to have people helping. But I see that this model of putting 30 people to handle a case is getting totally out of the reality. The clients want a very small team that can handle the problem, a point of communication. They don't want to talk to several people at the same time. And again, it's about trust. When you go to a doctor, you don't want to have a surgery with the assistant. You want to have the doctor that you trust. And I think it's the same. For sure, other types of lawyer activities can work in this other way. For example, mass litigation, this can work. But the type of work that we do is totally about trusting the person and trusting the expertise, the experience, and knowing that this guy will help me until the end and will solve my problem. This is how I see it.
And it really transcends our field. I mean, everything we've talked about today, Victor, happened in the fields of construction and infrastructure. But I think that the lessons that we've drawn and that we've learned apply far beyond our profession. I mean, when clients are selecting legal counsel for international matters, what should they be looking for?
They should again sometimes to have the label of a big firm makes sense. For example, if the client is unsure about they don't know the market and they want to go like, I'm going to check the publications to see what are the biggest firms, and I have this sometimes works, but is getting less usual. Clients look for sure this type of the trust. They want to really trust the person, have the access to the person when they need it. So sometimes the label just is a big firm, a recognized firm, doesn't solve, is not the biggest goal anymore. In the past it was like this, but nowadays and you see big firms splitting and creating new firms. This shows that the market is much more spread. In Brazil there was before, when I entered in the first law firm, there was no visibility of other firms. Looks like only the big firms existed. Nowadays, you see big firms and specialized firms on the same level and doing this, sitting on the negotiating contracts or being in arbitrations. That there is nothing is changed a lot. The market recognizes that is not about really the label, but about the people, the lawyers, the partner that will be in charge, the expertise of the person, the people involved. So in my opinion, this is becoming, I'm not sure in the US, but here in Brazil, for sure, this is the new reality.
The role of clients, the clients are much more sophisticated, they're much more informed, and they know what they're looking for much more than they used to in the past because of specialization. So here's a question. What questions should clients ask before assembling an international legal team?
What's the level of collaboration? Have you worked together in the past? Do you trust each other? Everything that we talked about, I think the clients really need, these are the questions that should be asked. Do you trust your local partner?
Can you be
how these guys will handle the working as a team? This is the kind of issue that for sure the clients need to ask, because in the end of the day, this is the key for the success or not.
And that's a trust, that's a relationship that you can only, I think, develop by spending time in the trenches together, fighting it out and having to rely on the other person as they rely on you. It's the essence of team building, and it's the key for long-term relationships like the one I am blessed to have with you. Victor, what advice would you give young lawyers who want to build an successful international career?
First of all, you have to really stay focused on developing relationships of trust, really getting experience, and really being ethical, understanding that your name is the most valuable thing that you have, and this will follow you forever. So something that you do wrong, if you don't follow the right path, this can really destroy your career and avoid you to be part of an international team, because your name is the first thing that the people will look for. Understanding who you are, what are your values. So this, I think, will be my advice to them, to really focus on defending your name, your values, and be in a correct path, and develop your relationships based on this, on trust, and you know, sometimes the young people are a little bit too anxious, and everyone now, because of the internet, I think, and seeing the examples of YouTubers, how the speed that they grow in their activities. But lawyers we are like wine. We need to take time. We need really to learn and get experience, especially in our field. There's no way that you can have a shortcut in this career.
I agree, Victor. One thing that I've learned over the years is clients don't benefit from lawyers competing with each other. Clients benefit from lawyers who know when to lead and when to follow. That's what being part of a team is. Clients benefit from professionals who aren't afraid to bring additional expertise to the table when it serves the client's interest. Again, it's a question of trust and putting the client's interest first. Ultimately, clients aren't hiring firms to work independently. They're hiring professionals to work as a legal team to represent the client. So I couldn't agree with your perspectives more. Victor, to finish the podcast for today, I'm going to hit you with a few rapid fire questions. Here we go. What's the most underrated skill in international legal practice?
Maybe the ones that we discussed today. People, I don't think about trust as a first issue. I think trust.
What's the one mistake lawyers make when collaborating across borders?
Thinking about only yourselves and doesn't know how to work as a team.
What separates good legal teams from exceptional legal teams?
The level of trust.
Thank you. Yes, I was hoping you would say that. And, well, give me one word that defines successful collaboration. You're going to say it.
Trust, yeah.
It's trust.
Yeah.
It's the foundation of everything. Victor, muito obrigado. Thank you for joining me. Looking back over everything that we've discussed today, one idea continues to stand out. Cross-border collaboration isn't really about borders. It's not about jurisdictions. It's not even about firms. It's about people. Professional relationships built on trust create stronger teams. Stronger teams make better decisions. Better decisions ultimately produce better outcomes for clients. And that's a lesson that applies not only to construction and infrastructure, but to every profession where people work together across cultures, disciplines, and borders to try to solve problems. This has been the Brodsky Brief, real conversations about risk, strategy, collaboration, and what it truly takes to keep complex projects moving forward. You can follow us on Spotify and YouTube for future episodes. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Fun.